Hey guys, to set up our notes area, let's first check out our API. And the first thing we're going to want to do is the get. So I'll scroll down a little ways and you see we have this get to do guy here. Let me just copy him up like so. And let's make sure, move it down to the get note. Okay, we can get rid of one of these require logins. This session user ID isn't needed here. So with this, we're going to use the note model, and we'll just change this to note ID, note ID, note ID. Okay. Now we did have a little string up here that we didn't need, and that was in the to do, get to do right here, this guy. I'll just delete him. And we could actually open our navigator if you'd like, window navigation navigator, and this can help a great deal. Should have had it open a while ago. So we're going to get note. Let's make sure this looks right. Note model, note model. And remember, we instantiated this in the construct. If I go up here, it's right here. So back to get note. Okay. And what we'll do is insert some fake data in the note. Our user ID is 1 if you logged in under admin. And I'll just press insert. I'll put 1. The title will be test and hello. Okay. I'll shrink that guy down. And I don't know yet if we have an API call going for the note. So let's go to our views, dashboard view, and we have our create note, our list note. Okay, there's our list notes. Now let's go to our JavaScript. Public JS junior dash, and let's go to dashboard. So we have load to do. Let's type out what we're going to do for load note. And I want to type it out with you so that you get the feel of it. So we're doing a get, and a get is basically just a HTTP call. So I'll say /API get note function, and the little O in here is the callback or the JSON response. Okay, and I want to make sure this is JSON. And in here, I'll start with my var output is just going to be an empty string. Now it's not good to just say var output sometimes, because it will come back as undefined and it'll show up in your text. So let's say var I is 0, I is less than o.length I plus plus. Just a simple for loop. And we'll do output plus equals template. Now let's go to our templates. We have our to do here, and we have our note here. Okay, and we pass in an object in there. So template.note OI. If it makes it any easier for you, whoops, make sure you don't have that comma there. You could call this OBJ for object, so that it helps you, because really what this is a JSON object, because we're doing a get and returning JSON from the server. I do this quite a bit, so I just like things to be short. And what we're going to do is populate that list, which was called list_note. List_note.html will be output. Okay, so go ahead and pause your video if you need to, or if you really didn't want to type it, you would just copy paste this and see if it works. So back here, I'll refresh, and we had get to do called, but we didn't have get note called. So I'll go back to the top and I'll say load note. Okay, and refresh. So get note was called, and there was an error, undefined variable ID. Now it looks like we did get some stuff here. So let's go ahead and look at controllers API line 190. And 190, well, it looks like we have no ID in here. And let's see what we're doing for the get to do. Get to do has ID of null. Get note, we'll just do the same thing so we don't have to rethink a whole bunch. Okay? And there is test hello. Cool. And this is going to be pretty straightforward. We're going to pimp this out quite a bit. Let's go ahead and get a create. I'll go ahead and copy all this junk in the to-do. So I'm under create to-do. I'm copying all this code. Now I'm going to go to, let's see, get note. I want to do create note. Okay. And paste. And we only need one of these. So when we create a note, what do we have? Let's take a look. We have a title, and the name of this is title, and we have a text area, and the name is content. So we have title and content. So we're going to need two rules. I'll go ahead and Control Shift down arrow to duplicate that. I'll change this to title. Title. I'll go to the end of this line, and I'm going to say the max length to this is just going to be 50. The max length for the content, I don't know yet. Let's think about that. Content, let's make sure it's a text field. Content right here. And it is a text field. If it was a var character field, it would be limited to 255. So let's give it 500. If you're feeling generous later, you could improve it. And for the note model, in this one we're going to pass the title. Don't forget to change your post. Remember, this is just form validation because we don't want them to be sneaky. And title, content, user ID, user ID. Okay. And let me just do that. And we will try to create. Now I'm not sure the DOM is quite yet working, so you see it went to that hash sign. So let's go ahead and go to the dashboard.js. Okay, and this will be under an event. So create note. Let's look at create to do. And I'm just going to copy this because it's starting to get to be a lot to type. Okay. And I'll go to create note. And you see this pound create note, that's what we're going to replace it with. See, when we name things all consistently, it's really helpful. What we have to change is the output. Template will be note. List will be note. And hopefully I didn't miss anything. I'll go ahead and refresh and see what happens for fun. Test. And test. And it says test there, but it didn't insert it live into our DOM. Let's check our database and see what happened. Refresh, and it did insert right there. The question is, where is it on here? So I'll say, hey, create. For some reason it says test up there. We'll fix all this in a bit. So it is creating successfully if I look at this. What I want to do is make sure our get is correct. So let's go back to the template and then get. Okay, the way to see is we can open our network tab. Let's see, get note, note ID 1. Let me refresh. Get note. It looks like it's only getting one note. And let's look at the headers that were passed. What we want, was it a get? Looks like we weren't passing anything. We were just passing get note. So we're going to have to take a look at the API of get note. And this says if ID is not equal to null, get where the note ID equals ID. Otherwise, get the note Oh, so sorry. This has to be user ID. Big typo. So make sure this is user ID. That was just getting note ID 1. So if I refresh, here are our notes. Let's try it once more. Hey, create. And at the moment we have to refresh, which we'll fix, and it's right there. Okay, so that'll wrap it up for the notes of just listing and creating.